Welcome back to the Ferris Sports Update. Joined now by Bulldog men's and women's tennis coach Mark Doren. Coach, thanks for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
It's an interesting weekend for your program, a tough weekend schedule-wise, but a weekend where you pulled out one big win and maybe learned some lessons otherwise. You take a look back at the weekend. What are some of the things you pull out about your team and how proud you are of them for one really big win especially?
Yeah, I'm proud of both teams. Obviously on the men's side to get a win over the defending national runner-ups was huge. But just the intensity of what we've worked on for this entire year really came to a peak this weekend for both teams. We went down to Florida a few weeks ago and played some of the best teams in the country. And our goal for doing that is to be able to come back here and know that we're ready to compete against anybody. And on Friday, we really showed that.
You know, it's interesting. I've watched the tennis program over a number of years, and you never know when you hire a new coach where the program's going to go. But it just seems to continue to be on an upwards trajectory, or at least, the success has been maintained at the very minimum since you've taken over. Why do you think that your program continues to just, even when you graduate great players, reload so quickly?
Yeah, I think of it's the tradition first that helps me be able to reload. But I think it is just a buy-in. I think we've talked about being a family. We talk about helping each other grow. And I think that, when you can get a bunch of individuals to buy into a team concept, although it is a very individual-based sport, if you can get that, you can really get the buy-in to where anything is possible. And I think that, we're really seeing the success of that, kind of culture and what it's been able to, produce and be able to keep longevity with.
Let's take a look back at some of the highlights, at least from your men's match here, from the victory over Wayne State. Obviously a top-ranked team in the country, a team that was the national runner-up last year. How much confidence does that give your kids going forward in the GLIAC schedule?
Oh, so much. Last year we went to their place and we lost 7-0. And they were having just a tremendous season and went on to have a great season. And really didn't lose much. So we knew that we were an underdog going into this, but all year we've been making such strides that we knew we could, push them. And, to get into this match and just go in with such confidence and right away we set the tone early with doubles. When you win the doubles point, it just gives you that excitement to move on to the singles and know that you only need to win, 3 of the 6 singles to win the match. And that was big for us. And last year we lost the doubles point and then we just were a little low. So this year it was huge. And just to be able to step up and have some underclassmen really perform. It's all about depth in a lot of sports. If you can have someone come off the bench and perform. Well, for us, this weekend, the 4, 5, and 6 singles all won their matches. 1, 2, and 3 played great, but 4, 5, and 6 really stepped up, and that's what led us with some underclassmen. A freshman at 6 that just got here in January, and he's really embraced the idea of being kind of our workhorse at the end of the lineup, and he was awesome, and it was just a great match. And I don't know if it's on this video, but Alessandro won this big point at the end, and we win a lot of matches and we give high fives, but the whole team rushed him and lifted him up, and it's one of those moments that he'll remember forever, and the team hopefully remembers and uses for the rest of the season.
Can you think of key moments or key points within, the series of this match where you felt like, okay, maybe it was the doubles point, but where you felt, okay, we have a really good chance at this point to win this?
Yeah, you know what? I think we had a couple matches already down, and our one singles was losing his match, and then he really started to play a lot better. And although he lost that match, I could just see that the other players that were on court kind of used his energy of his continuing to fight to make them think, what, we got this. It's not over. We have a lot of time left and we can get after it. And I think that was one of them. And then, we were tied 3-3, and Alessandro had some match points in the second set and didn't win the second set. And, you look to see how they are going to handle that as a team, as an individual. And wow, he raised his game even more and just dominated the third set to get the win.
You brought this up before we went on, actually. I found this really interesting about individual sports. In tennis, you're in a unique situation where you're on the court and your teammates are all the way across the court around you. And when one struggles, the other struggles. When one is succeeding, the others tend to be lifted up by that. That's not the case in a lot of individual sports. How do you think it's a bit of an advantage, disadvantage, playing with fire a little bit to have that, all your teammates around you, even though you're individually playing?
Yeah, I mean, it can be both. We try to sell it as much as we can as being an advantage. And taking on that responsibility of, no matter what, always fighting, even if you're losing. It's tough. It's also a sport that you're out there for 2 hours. And you can't be subbed in for. There's a lot of sports, if you have someone that's struggling physically or mentally, you could sub them out, coach can talk to them and put them back in and get going. And we can't do that. So what it comes to is them as a team and myself as a coach to be able to maintain the energy and try to keep the low moments as few as possible and really maintain and emphasize those high moments.
Women's team also battled extraordinarily hard. As you take a look at that program, it's not like they're talent-wise all that much different than the men's team. You get two really good programs you're running right now.
Yeah, extremely talented. We're going through a little bit of a rut right now, just playing some really tough competition. But at the end of the day, we're getting better and better and better. This was a great match. I mean, I thought we came out and won the doubles and hadn't won a doubles point versus Wayne State a few years and played great tennis. And then we got into singles, and it was awesome. We were all playing well, and even, we had a few spots that ended up having some injuries that, had to retire in the match. But they were fighting until the very end because they just wanted it so bad. And we continued to play well. And, a 5-2 loss is still a quality loss to a team that we lost to 7-0 a year ago. And we know that, we take care of ourselves a little bit more. Maybe that turns into a 4-3 win for us.
And that's a situation where you could see them again anyways. It's not a this is the end type of deal. You could see Wayne State down the line too, and now you at least have the confidence, hey, we're in that match most of the time.
Oh yeah, right afterwards, the whole team was talking about, hey, when we get to GLIAC, Wayne State's going down. And to have that attitude afterwards and, when they could be really just sad and disappointed, they were excited to think that, the rematch will go a different way.
So you take a look forward towards the end of the regular season here. What are some of the things you got to do maybe at least this week as you get ready for another home slate next weekend?
Yeah, I think at this time of year is tough. It's difficult for student athletes. When you're a spring sport and you're getting towards the end of a season, there are just so many distractions, with school, with summer jobs and stuff like that. So I think the main thing is just focus, being able to just, when we're on the court, be able to be zeroed in on what we're working on, what our game plan is for the week, who our opponents are, and really just kind of be able to focus on that and try to just, continue to remind them that, what's on the court is there, and we can leave whatever's off and really just be extremely excited for the opportunities we have.
For the fans want to come out this weekend, tell us a little bit about Friday's match.
Yeah, so Friday the women will start at 10. Both days, women start at 10, Friday and Saturday, and the men will probably start around 2 o'clock. There's no set time. It's kind of just when the women end. But we really appreciate this. Last weekend we had large crowds, and it's always awesome. A lot of people, in the United States grow up and are around tennis in high school where it's really quiet. And college tennis is a lot different. The crowd gets into it, and there's a lot of yelling and chanting, which you wouldn't think at a tennis match because you see it on TV and it's super quiet. But the college atmosphere is much different. So we really appreciate it. We've had a lot of fans so far, and it just makes the players so much more excited to perform.
Coach, thanks for joining me, and good luck this weekend.
Yeah, thanks, Harris.
We come back, we're talking track and field next on the Ferris Sports Update.